Good morning, Storm fans. I am Bryant Cook, and today we're playing my very favorite Pauper deck, Cycle Storm. If you checked out my previous video where I went a cool 5-0 with this very deck, you can check that video out in the card above. In it, I talk about a brand new card from Dominaria United, not Withering, Writhing Necromass. I mispronounced it in that video. I am so terribly sorry, but this is the card that we will be playing today. I talked about it in that video in depth. You can go check that out, but I'm going to reiterate some of the points today. So why is this card good? In general, I am pretty low on effects that answer Relic of Progenitus or Nile Spellbomb, any of those. I feel like often they're more of a pipe dream than they come up being actually good. Well, in that video, I got a little bit of egg on my face. Repeal actually came up as a perfect situational answer. I boarded it in one instead of the two that I was playing, and it came up huge. It actually won me a match, and then I ended up getting that elusive trophy, which was pretty sweet. So I talked about cutting all of the repeals and just playing 4 Writhing Necromass. Well, I'm going to keep one repeal in, and I'm going to shave a single copy of Fairy Macabre. The Goblin combo deck has sort of fallen off the face of the earth. And if that's going to be the case, maybe we don't actually need Fairy Macabre. Who knows? But I'm going to keep 2 of these in the sideboard today. This could be a slot that we look at cutting in the future. But why is Writhing Necromass good? Well, it gives us a pretty free juke plan. Unlike the Exhume plan, you don't have a whole lot of setup. You're allowed to play your deck in its natural play pattern, and then you get to just benefit by having a backup plan. So that's really good. With the Exhume plan, you often wanted to play something like Striped Riverwinder to support just having Horror of the Broken Lands, because none of your other threats in this deck are actually that scary. Like Imposing Mantisaur is a 3/6, it's not that good. So you don't have to run any support creatures, and that's another nice, bonus of Writhing Necromass. I mean, the card's just a big dumb beater, right? Like, the Death Touch doesn't matter that much. It could against a deck like Bogles, but you shouldn't be boarding it in that matchup anyway. So it's just a cheap 5/5 beater, and then you can keep on doing your thing. Another nice benefit of this is that people have mentioned Gurmag Angler if I wanted this threat the whole time. I'm not looking to delve my creatures away. Are you kidding me? Come on. So you can combo off like you normally would, return a bunch of creatures with Reaping the Graves and then just replay them all again. And I think that's another nice aspect of this, is that you can keep on shoveling Necromasses down your opponent's throat with very little that holds you back. And I think that's going to be pretty nice because it just plays into your normal game plan. And that's the real reason I'm excited for this card. Some people in the Storm Discord have been a little bit skeptical because of the new initiative cards, because aggro is at a forefront of the format right now. Maybe we don't need this. That's certainly possible. I am open to being wrong, but I still think it's worth testing. I don't want to dismiss something just because another new keyword or mechanic is popular right now. I still think that this could be really good in a matchup like Fairies, for example. So I want to try out the Writhing Necromass. We'll see how it goes. That's really what I have on this card. No other changes in the main deck. In fact, I think our deck list is like pretty close to optimal right now. It's sort of just fleshing out these sideboard cards. Like, do you want Fairy Macabres? Do you want Life Gain? Speaking of Life Gain, in that previous video, I actually ran a Sultai list. I was running green for Gnaw to the Bone because people in the comment section love talking about Gnaw to the Bone. I don't think that they realize that the card's actually not as useful as it is in their head. If Burn has an average draw now that they're a Swift Spear deck, that card is going to be too slow. You can't keep on spending 3 mana to gain 6 to 8 life on turn 3 and 4. If you're mid-combo and you cast it, think of it this way. Would it have been better as a Gnaw to the Bone or another cycling creature that had just allowed you to win that turn anyway? And I think that's something that people don't realize. They're like, haha, I gained 32 life. This card was sweet. Yes, that is obviously good, but winning the game is even sweeter. And if you're doing it mid-combo, you'd rather have something that just allows you to keep winning. So I don't know if you actually want Gnaw to the Bone, because if you're not mid-combo, the card's pretty lackluster, and it time walks yourself. So in the previous video, the 5-0 trophy video, I talked about running Duress as a multifunctional card, because you could run Pyroblast, you can search up the mountain, we have Lotus Petals, all that good stuff. So why is Duress better? Well, you don't have to board in something like Repeal against blue decks. You can just board in the 4 Duress, and if they do have a relic or something, you just play through it, which is another option. So with Duress, Against Burn, you can maybe board out some Street Wraiths for Duress to slow them down, hit that Fire Blast, that sort of thing. I'm not sure if I want to do that plan or not. I'm still trying to figure some things out, but I think that Duress is so versatile, and that's why we really want to be leaning on Duress, especially in a list with 5 untapped swamps. It's going to be so good. I think that's really all I have to say on today's video. If you have any thoughts, questions, suggestions, whatever, as always, you can put those down below. But for now, I'm going to head on over to match number 1. I hope you join me there. Enjoy the video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, exclusive members only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, early access to videos, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, such as theepicstorm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicstorm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. We are starting this day off right with a terrific keep. We're on the draw. I have no clue what our opponent's playing, because I'll be honest, I don't really look up what our opponent's decks are in this format, because Pauper is such an affordable format that people can switch and vary all the time. And it looks like, if I had to guess, that we are likely facing Fairy, so we might get to try out these Writhing Necromasses in the very first match. Alright, so we counter their island with an even better island from Invasion, my very first Magic set. And they cast a Thought Scour, so it is not going to be fairies. It could be the Serpentine Curve deck. It could also just be blue-black Gurmag Angler. They play another copy of Basic Island. Okay, we'll go to their end step. And then we're going to cycle for a Basic Swamp. Fun fact, so in between the deck tech in the first round, I had an idea. I was like, I wonder if there's Invasion uncut sheets for sale, because it's my first set. It's why I use all the basics. I have the Invasion poster on my wall. It's a pretty cool, like, battleground photo. And I was like, I wonder if I could buy an uncut sheet to put on my office wall, my office space here. Couldn't find one, unfortunately, but I was only looking for a couple minutes. I could always check some Facebook groups or something as well. All right. So we'll grab the swamp, just pass the turn. On their end step, we'll do some cycling. The Invasion poster that's on my wall, I mean, I don't have a way to show you, I'm sorry. But it's actually in Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire movie. Pretty cool. And our opponent plays an Accumulated Knowledge, also known as AK. Another island. 3 mana for Pieces of the Puzzle. Okay, so they are blue-red and they have a curve. Curve Fling, all in one. Okay, so they decided to get rid of the Fling and they took Dispel Curve. This could be a tremendous opportunity for us to try to win the game here. So let's cycle this Architects of Will. Ball Ritual is obviously a very good draw. Cycle. Ooh, I like that. Draw. Alright, let's cycle these Street Wraiths. Let's get a little bit more information about what we can do here. Alright, so we are... I think I might have to burn a Songs of the Damned early if I want to go right now, but it might not be the end of the world. I can play Ash Barrens, cycle the Drannith Healer, or the Vantasaur, leaving a black up, but then I'm 1 mana short of casting Cabal Ritual Threshold unless I cast Songs. I think I want to try to move here, so let's do that. Let's cycle the Vantasaur, hopefully draw like Dark Ritual, another Teachings. That honestly wasn't very good. Let's cast a Songs for 5. I mean, I would prefer to hold it, but I think the blue mana is more valuable. And now we have Threshold, so we can cast Cabal Ritual. Let's cycle this Drannith Healer. Another Cabal Ritual. Okay. So now the question is, do you cast Teachings or do you cast Ploy looking for more stuff? I think I'm actually going to cast Ploy. It's a little bit greedy, but the double Teachings are going to rot in our hand. So we'll discard one of these, keep cycling. Another Cabal Ritual, that's all 3. A while back I cut down to 3 copies, so a little bit surprising that we hit all 3 this early. I mean, it's a good thing, I'm not going to complain, but just a little surprised is all. Oh, I'm trying to cast it from my hand, I need to cast the one from my graveyard. Okay, so we're gonna go get Reaping the Graves here. We have 2 Songs of the Damned left in our deck. And now we're going to return a whole bunch of creatures. So the important thing is select a creature you don't want with the original copy, and then it's always best to select your copies of Street Wraith first because they cycle for free. So if you're ever choked on mana, it ends up being relevant. And now we're going to cycle one at a time. And this question comes up all the time in videos. Why do you cycle one creature at a time, Bryant? Why don't you just return them all in cycle? Well, if you were to draw into a Songs of the Damned, all of your creatures are in your graveyard, so you're keeping it, making the most amount of mana possible. And that actually is very, very relevant. So we're just going to keep cycling here. And you'll notice that it still says 8 or 10 or whatever. If you return all of them, you end up with way less mana. So you just don't want to do that. We're going to go down to 1 block here. And now we'll cast this Songs of the Damned for 12. That's Songs number 3. We only have 1 left in the deck at this point. Okay, keep cycling. 29 cards left. Every day I'm cycling. Okay. Cycle the Stinger. Street Wraith down to 15. And another Lotus Petal. That was actually an incredibly good draw. So what that allows us to do is go get a Reaping the Graves and play Scob for Songs of the Damned. I mean, I drew the final one, so that was a little bit lucky. But it gave us the flexibility of not needing to get lucky. And then we drew the Reaping the Graves. So this game's just over. Our opponent's dead. Turn 3, easy peasy for Cycle Storm. And one of the big things about this game that might not seem obvious is that we had all untapped lands. So that allowed us to cycle more quickly. The reason why I mention this is that just a couple months ago, we were playing lists that couldn't do that. They ran tap lands like Barren Moors, and a year ago we were running things like the Invasion Sacrifice lands like Sulfur Vents. Yeah, I believe that's what it's called, Sulfur Vents. And we just weren't able to do those sort of lines. So with running all basics, our deck list has considerably sped up, and I feel like that's why this deck is so good now. Okay, we're just going to return everything at this point, so I don't need to select the Street Wraiths first. I mean, you can, it doesn't hurt anything, but it just also doesn't matter. Okay, so we're returning all of our creatures, and then I'm just going to win the game, because winning the game is cool. Okay. God, I love this deck. This is probably my second favorite Magic deck, period. It's like the Epic Storm and Legacy, and then this. I love playing Cycle Storm. People think that it's like repetitive or boring. I think they just don't understand the intricacies of this deck. Like they're always calculating odds, and it's truly a work of art. I love it. Because every card in the deck is a draw spell. Every creature in the deck is a draw spell. So you have to view it that way. And your odds of hitting the piece that you need is always changing, and I think it's just really, really interesting. You might just see it as casting Rituals and Reaping the Graves, but I'd say that you're a boring person. So don't have that kind of lame attitude. Dark Ritual. We hit another Reaping the Graves. So at this point, we're really just looking for our Blood Celebrant or another copy of Lotus Petal to play another copy of Stinger. Okay, keep cycling. Love to cycle. Keep cycling. 29 mana floating, easy peasy. There's another Lotus Petal. Let's cast that. Make a red. Play a Stinger. Cycle this Street Wraith going down to 7 life. It's always important to keep track of your life total. You don't want to accidentally kill yourself. I've definitely done that before. And there's our bloody friend. So now we can cast another Stinger. And then just cycle twice. So you could play the 4th Stinger. I love having all 4 Stingers in play, but it's actually just more clicks that you don't need to do. Okay, and that's the first game versus Blue-Red Serpentine Curve. I've had a number of people ask me to play this deck on the channel. One, there's always the epicstorm.com/donation decks, you know, if you want to support the channel that way. But 2, I don't actually feel like that's a combo deck. Like, yeah, you have Curve Fling, like that is a combo, I guess, but you're really just a control deck, and I don't really want to play that, so I'm sorry. Here we're going to board in 4 copies of Duress, and I don't know if we actually want the Writhing Necromass in this matchup, just because it gets trumped pretty easily by a giant snake. So I think we want to avoid that. I don't really have strong opinions, though. I'm just not sure if you're supposed to board in the Writhing Necromass in this matchup. The thing is, like, they don't, like, they have Lightning Bolt and Scred, but, like, those are both, like, not easy answers to the Necromass. I think we should start out with the obvious thing. Let's board out our Architects, and then, like, a Lotus Petal. That's usually how I board in this matchup. And that leaves us at 60. So let's say you wanted to board in the Writhing Necromass. What do? I think you shave a Ploy, a Teachings, and then 2 other cards. Those other cards are probably Dark Ritual. You could board out Scob 2 as well. But I do worry about boarding too low on creatures. I'm just going to try this for now, and if we lose game 2, I can reconsider. Like, if they have a lot of graveyard hate, I think the Necromass might make more sense. Okay, so we don't have a colored source, but we have plenty of colorless cyclers. I think we're going to be just fine with this Ash Barrens. They play a turn 1 island once again. Draw. We'll play the Ash Barrens, pass the turn. Consider. We drew a Reaping the Graves, which is a decent draw step. We need some lands here, but I'm not going to complain about drawing a key card in our deck. Alright, they're just passing the turn. We will cycle. Goodbye, Drannith Healer. Songs of the Damned. Draw. Not a land. We'll try cycling again. Womp womp. Discard this Mystical Teachings. They cast another Accumulated Knowledge. Thought Scour. Tolarian Terror. I believe that's the blue version of the Writhing Necromass. Costs 1 less for each instant and sorcery in your graveyard. Ward 2. This card is also incredibly sweet. Happy to see that seeing play. We will draw a card now. Alright, cycle the Drannith Stinger. Bummer. We're not hitting lands right now. I'm going to discard the Repository Scob. We just don't need it at the moment. Next turn, between our draw step and cycling, we will be 25% of the way through our deck, so we should find another land at some point. But, you know, variance happens. Alright, discard the Scob. Seeing this in their graveyard makes me want to board in the Writhing Necromass even less, though. Sweet art. Tolarian Terror. Great name, too. They play land 4. Pieces of the Puzzle. Lightning Bolt, Thought Scour, Red Elemental Blast. I'm sorry, Thought Scour, Lightning Bolt, Brainstorm, Thought Scour, and Blue Elemental Blast. They let the Blue Blast go. They're giving me a turn here. If I could draw a Black Source, we can go. Draw. That was a miss. Cycle Stinger, come on, give me a Black Source. Ooh, baby. We're off to the races. Songs of the Damned. Cycle. Wow, that was a good one. Okay, another Cabal Ritual. We have 10 black. I think I'm just going to let the songs resolve. You could hold priority on that songs and then cast Reaping, but I think it's a little bit risky for no reason. We're returning 5 creatures. I'm going to leave the Scob in the graveyard for now. You could return it. I don't think you're supposed to, but I've been wrong before in my life. Magic is not an exact science. Cycle. Another Reaping. Cycle. So I could cycle for an island, but I've already played my land for turn. That doesn't actually help me. Cycle. And again. Okay, go to 18. Duress. Cycle. Ploy. Now we'll cycle again. Okay, running low on mana. Cycle. We found the blue source, but I don't have the Scob, so maybe... I guess if I returned the Scob, I wouldn't have been able to cycle into that, so that's not fair. I can Reaping the Graves again, but I have to get pretty lucky, because I'd only have 2 mana floating. Alright, let's stock up, I guess. We'll target the Scob first. Street Wreath. And then the rest. Alright, so let's try to cycle into some rituals here. That's not a ritual. Cycle the Dino. Another copy of Duress. Cycle the Healer. Okay, we likely fizzled. Just return everything at this point. Play out the Lotus Petal. And question is, how do we want to play the rest of this turn? I think we can afford to cast 1 copy of Duress. Hydroblast, that card doesn't matter. Lightning Bolt. I guess we take the Brainstorm. Okay. And now we have to go to cleanup. Alright, I'm going to discard some ploys. I can always jumpstart those. So the next turn they'll have double bolt open, which means they can kill our Scob. Discard the Horror. I think I'm down for discarding Horror here, mostly just because we only have 1 black source. I need to use it wisely. So we know that our opponent has double Lightning Bolt in hand. They can attack for 5, and then put me to 11, double bolt, and attack for 5 again, and that's going to be the game. So I do need to try to win on my turn. We've seen 2 copies of Songs of the Damned, 2 copies of Cabal Ritual. And they drew another Brainstorm. I'm in trouble. They play a Mountain, so they don't have a shuffle effect. They'll get in for 5, I'll go to 11. Party time. We drew an Island. Cycle the Vantasaur. Okay. I mean, I just have to spike here. Dark Ritual, come on. I'm not loving our odds. I am dead on board. So I could play the Stinger. We know that they have Blue Blast, so that doesn't actually help me. Cycle. Alright, let's cast Duress, see if they let me live. If they just double bolt me, I'm dead here. Yep. And they do. So we'll get a little bit of information and then go to game 3. They drew a Spell Pierce. That's good to know that they have. And then an AK. Alright, we're dead. We have to go to the next one. It just took us way too long to find mana that game. I'm pretty convinced I don't actually want the Writhing Necromass. I'm just going to resubmit. Alright, game 3, we're on the play. 1 cycler. I feel like we can do better than this. Much better. Keep. Get rid of the teachings. Our opponent also took a mulligan. To 4 cards. They might have dedicated Graveyard Hate if this is the case. Am I going to be beating down with a Street Wraith? Stay tuned. Alright, Ash Barrens on the battlefield, then we'll cycle the other for a basic swamp. Alright, they play a forward, we'll cycle the Ash Barrens. Go grab that swamp. Untap, take a draw. I think I'm going to try to find Duress here. So let's cycle the Street Wraith. Cycle Healer. Do I find it? We did not. Pass the turn. It was worth cycling the Street Wraith into a possible relic here just because I really wanted to find that Duress, but it doesn't look like they have it anyway. Cycle Stinger. On an island. Draw. Alright, so it looks like if their opponent casts a couple spells, we might want to consider a value reaping here. Thought Scour. That's fine. That's all they're going to do, I guess. Alright, we'll take a draw. Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. They bolt me. Sure, we're at 15. Looks like they're trying to get creatures, or I'm sorry, instants and sorceries in the graveyard for their Tolarian Terror. I'm guessing that's what that bolt meant. Let's cycle this. We go to 13. Alright, cycle the Horror. Another copy of Lotus Petal. I feel like I could beat my opponent here. I could try to go Petal Dark Ritual, and I bet that they would counterspell it. And then from there I could go Petal Cabal Ritual into the win. The question is, do we want to go with 5 cards in graveyard? Let's try this Dark Ritual. Sometimes I scare myself. It's true. Alright, let's cast this Cabal Ritual. And I'm going to cast one Songs of the Damned here. I don't want to cast both because it's not going to be worthwhile, but I can make a little bit of extra mana here. Street Wraiths first and then the rest. Cycle. Cycle again. Duress. Cycle down to 7. Dark Ritual. Cycle the Healer. Another Duress. We need to find payoffs here. Cycle. Okay. I guess I only have one left. That's not great. Cycle this Stinger. Might as well play the Swamp. Cycle Vantasaur. Or the Broken Lands. I'm going to dress our opponent. I want some information. They do have the Tolarian Terror. They also have Serpentine Curve. So there's no point in playing this Horror of the Broken Lands because they're going to have a 5/5 on their turn. Let's take the counter spell. Cycle. Another Duress. Cast the Duress. We'll take the Thought Scour. I'm at a point where I could die to this Terror. I need to draw something quickly. Oh. I clicked one too many times. They do have a Tolarian Terror in hand. We're at 36 cards in deck. So I should have seen... I guess we... No, I shuffled the teachings back in. So we have 2 teachings, 2 scobs, 3 reapings left. So 7 hits. 7 divided by 36. We're about 20% to find one with the draw step. They play the Terror. Draw. Cycle. That's not what I wanted. Pass the turn. Dead to a lightning bolt. Oh, they drew bolt for turn. Perfect. Okay, we are in fact dead. I don't know why they spent so much time tanking on that. We're dead. We're 0-1. Not the way I wanted to start this league. I feel like I got a little bit unlucky here. And there's the teachings. Too slow. All right, 0-1, match number 2 coming up. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Time to bounce back from that rough loss. We're on the play. This seems fine enough. Our opponent with the Pauper Prestige avatar. Good for them. Draw. We'll play. I'm sorry, we're on the play. We don't get to draw for being on the play. This isn't Commander. Pass the turn. Peat Bog. So some sort of combo deck. Cycle. Wraith. Draw. Go grab a swamp. Play the swamp. Pass the turn. Another black land. Okay. Dark Ritual. You got it. Oh, they're just like an initiative deck. Okay. So this is my first time actually seeing it. So I know that the Undercity is a special dungeon for the initiative specifically. So they can search the library for a basic land card, put it to their hand. That's the first thing. A lot of people are really upset over the initiative. They think it's more unfair than Monarch. I'm not sure I agree, but that doesn't matter. Cycle. We get Reapings. Great. Cycle. Songs of the Damned. We need more cycling creatures. Let's cycle this healer. 5 cards in graveyard. Am I going to go here? I can go Petal Petal. I think I'm going to go. Alright, let's sacrifice this for black, this for blue. Cast the Cabal Ritual with Threshold. Excuse me. Cycle the Stinger. Okay. Keep cycling. Another Songs of the Damned. Cast it. Play the Celebrant. And now we'll Reaping the Graves. 5 mana floating. We do not need to cast this other Songs to return everything, so we're going to try to make it just a little bit more mana. So it would have made 6 if we cast it before. I think we can increase that. Those are rookie numbers. Cycle this Architects. Alright, so now we're going to go up to 7 mana that it can make. Lotus Petal. Cycle the Healer. Another Swamp. Cycle. So the only way this is going to make more mana is if we draw into a Street Wraith here. We did not. So we got 1 extra mana out of it by waiting. Not that big of a payoff, but a mana is a mana. Cycle. Okay, we'll return the Horror. Cycle. Cabal Ritual. Swamp. Dark Ritual. Lotus Petal. Reaping the Graves. Street Wraith first. Okay. Cycle Street Wraith, going down to 14 life. Dark Ritual again. Plenty of mana. Cycle this Architects. Alright. I think we have enough mana floating that I'm just going to return everything. I don't really need to worry about creatures in graveyard. Just make it a little bit easier on myself here. Cycle the Architects. Healer. Keep the line moving. Another Reaping is certainly welcome. Okay. Ritual. Ritual. We're at 30 cards in deck at the moment. Cycle. Teaching. So let's sacrifice this Lotus Petal for a blue. And cast the Teachings. We'll go grab a Songs of the Damned. You might be thinking, why sacrifice the Lotus Petal when you have a Blood Celebrant? Our life total is a resource that I would like to use, and I just don't see the point in burning it when I could just use a Lotus Petal. Alright, so we have Storm 17, which is a lot, but we're surprisingly low on creatures. Okay. Cycle this. We have 1 Songs of the Damned left in our deck, too. So, mana is certainly our choke point at the moment. Ploy. Cycle this Architects. Cycle Vantasaur. Scob. So I could stop, return everything, cast Scob, but it wouldn't make any mana. There's no point in doing that, so we're just going to keep cycling. Okay. Nothing good yet. Keep the line moving. Go to 10. Cycle. Alright. Running out of mana here. Other Teachings. Cycle the Stinger. We technically have a Lotus Petal as a hit here. Now I need to return everything in discard. This thing's a 1/5. I can probably play the Petal and cycle the Street Wraith trying to spike. How much mana would it even make? 10? Alright, let's try to spike the final songs, I guess. Nope. Move to discard. Certainly getting rid of these extra lands. Probably the ploy too. Okay. So they get to put 2+1/+1 counters on their creature. It's now a 3/7. Chainer's Edict. I will sacrifice my Blood Celebrant. And they'll get in for 3. I go to 5 life. Draw. Another land. So if they have a removal spell for my Scob, I am straight dead. So I don't know if that's actually the line we want to take here. I do have teachings for Songs of the Damned, and that's probably just better. I want to remove their ability to just blow me out. So let's grab the songs, cast it. Cycle. All 4 copies of Lotus Petal, I believe, are in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we were out of blue sources without casting the Reaping the Graves. I think they might actually get me here. I'm really low on mana. If they have a removal spell, I'm just done. Alright, so I'll return the Blood Celebrant. And then a Street Wraith. And a healer, I guess. I mean, if they have an instant speed removal, so I think they have me. Play the Celebrant. Let's go to 3. They seemed F6 there. Scob. Maybe they just auto-yielded to the cycle on Street Wraith. So I'm dead to a cast down here. There's a lot of things that kill me. I just didn't really draw a whole lot of mana. And there's the cast down. Okay, so I am probably just dead. So you might be thinking, can I sacrifice this Blood Celebrant to get the exploit trigger? This creature needs to see it be sacrificed. I've done this before. The Blood Celebrant will, if I sacrifice it here, will not return the creature. Let's just do a quick Google search to make sure, but I've had it come up this way before. Exploit MTG. Okay, so whenever a creature exploits the battlefield, that player may sacrifice a creature, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to sacrifice a creature if that creature triggers. It still needs to be on the battlefield when you sacrifice a creature in order for it to work. So I cannot sacrifice the Celebrant here. So no. We'll cycle a Stinger. And I've already played my land. Hope that I'm able to block. That's all I can do here. Oh, target player loses 5 life. They got me. Okay. So that was a little bit unfortunate. Maybe I tried to go off too early. That's also a possibility. We'll try to do better this time. Do I want a sideboard? I don't know. We could bring in, like, Repeal for Nile Spellbomb, but I also think Spellbomb's one of the easier ones to beat. I'm just going to click Submit. Like, if I had to choose between facing a Spellbomb and a Relic, I'd rather face Spellbomb every time. Game 2, we will be on the play. I mean, if we draw another land, this hand's pretty good. It's really tough to mulligan hands like this, just because we are a land that, or we're a deck that gets punished for mulligans. You want as many resources as possible, so you don't really just want to throw them away. I think it would have been a much easier decision if the Blood Celebrant was another cycling creature. Opponent with a mulligan. Alright, so let's see if we can hit a land off these Street Wraiths. We will start our first cycle. No. Cycle. Alright, did not hit our land, but we do have a Drannith Stinger. I guess we should try to play around Bojuka Bog a little bit, and we'll wait until their end step to cycle. Swamp. Dark Ritual. Choking Sands. That's not very nice. I'm already mana screwed. Okay. Draw. Cycle the Street Wraith. All 4 Street Wraith will go to 10. Pass the turn. I guess on the bright side is if I draw a black source, I can maybe just try to go. Draw. Alright, let's discard the Scob. Draw. Discard Blood Celebrant. Draw again. Island. Okay, I can cycle the Architects. And now we have our black source. Beautiful. The Peat Bog. Upkeep. Cycle for a black. Draw. I think it's party time. Dark Ritual. Cycle the Horde of the Broken Lands. Cycle the Healer. It's only going to be Storm 3, I guess. I suppose I could cycle the Vantage over here. We will return Blood Celebrant. And a pair of Street Wraith. Getting low on life. Cycle. Cycle down to 6. Dark Ritual. Play the Celebrant. Cycle the Healer. Go to 5. Play the Scob. Exploit. Return the Songs of the Damned. Cycle Architects. Lotus Petal. Songs. Reaping the Graves. We'll return the Repository Scob. I'm going to return all the Street Wraiths, but I'm also going to return a Drannith Healer here. I'm going to try returning both copies of Scob. I don't know how I feel about it, but we'll see what we can do. And this time I am returning everything, which is a little bit different from the normal play pattern, because I really value being able to gain life off the healer. I think that's going to be huge here. So we'll cycle. Auto yield. And we found another songs. Lovely. So every Street Wraith now cycles for 1 life. Okay. Going up to 5. Auto yield. Cycle another Wraith. Okay. I'm at 3. Cycle another healer. Up to 4 life. Lotus Petal. Make a blue. Play Scob. Exploit. Return the Songs of the Damned. Make some mana. Another blue. Scob. Getting low on life. Sacrifice. Return Songs of the Damned. I have 2 Reapings in there. Yeah, we can return to Songs. Alright. Songs. Songs. And now we'll cast the Dahada's Ploy to gain some life. Discard the basic. Alright, we're back up to 18 life. Plenty of life to work with now. Cycle. Reaping the Graves. Let's jumpstart this ploy. Let's gain some more life. Never have too much life. Discard a land. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Now we just need to finish winning. Alright. And now we just play out our stuff and start cycling for victory. Our opponent concedes. Thank you, opponent. That was very kind of you. I appreciate it. And now we're off to game number 3. Submit. Keep. So we saw that our opponent was trying to Choking Sands us out that game. Keeping a 3-lander is going to help fight that. They've mulliganed to 5. Now to 4. Wow. Alright, 4 cards. Basic Swamp. Another Repository Scob. Not what we need here. That said, if they do secretly have like a relic or something, we can always go Scob Beatdown, unless we discard an artifact card. Let's discard Scob. Scob? Cycle. Grab an island. Draw. Pass the turn. You might have been thinking, Bryant, why don't you try to cycle the Stinger and spike a Lotus Petal? I think that's really greedy. Let's cycle this. Dark Ritual. Goodbye, Island. They have one card in hand. Cycle Street Wraith. Lotus Petal. Draw. Ploy. I think I'm going to likely play the Ploy. I just want to see what they do on their turn first. Dark Ritual. The initiative creature. You got it. So they get to search for a land, I believe. Yep. I mean, for a Molda 4, this is pretty good. Blue. Played the hottest ploy. Discard the swamp. Alright, and our upkeep, we will go grab another island. Take a draw. Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. So their creatures should get larger here. Yep. And we'll go to 16. 3 mana. Rancid Earth. They chose not to go after Island this time, which is interesting. Yeah, you have it. Mono Black Panza. So we're going to go to 16. Next turn we'll lose 5 off the initiative trigger. Draw. Blood Celebrant. I'm going to Dark Ritual and then jumpstart the Ploy. Discarding the Lotus. Or is it better to put... It's probably better to discard the Celebrant when I have double songs. Alright, Lotus Petal down. Cycle. Alright, looks like we're ready to party next turn. So I will lose 5 life. I will go to 13. They get a draw step and get to attack. They're trying to pay costs. I don't like that. You should have drawn a land. Come on, opponent. Okay, it's just a Gurmag. Just a Gurmag. We're fine. Okay. I'm at 10. Time to party. Cycle. Songs. Cycle. Love it. Okay. Hold control on this songs. Do I want to return the Blood Celebrant? I think we do. Scob. Wraith. Wraith. Scob. I might have messed this up a little bit, but it's fine. I should have just... I messed this. I should have just cast it normally. My own fault. Cycle. Cycle. Alright, so I made 7. I lost a mana because I'm a dummy. We'll play the Ash Barrens. Tap for a blue. Scob. Exploit. Return the Songs of the Damned. Blood Celebrant, Lotus Petal. Repository Scob. Exploit. Return the Reaping the Graves. Alright, this makes 9 mana this time. Alright, Stinger. Architects. Horror of the Broken Lands. Healer. Alright, so once again, I think I'm going to break the rules a little bit. I'm going to return everything, play a healer, and then start cycling. My life total is really low, and we need life as a resource in order to win this game, so that's the game plan. I'll go to 3 life. Play healer. Going to 10 total mana. Cycle. Auto yield. Okay. Cycle the Architects. Going up to 5. Cycle again. This will put us up to 6. Lagging a little bit. Okay. I believe I've already played a land. So now we can cycle Street Wraith. This will bring us to 5. 6 minutes on clock is plenty. Drawing another Reaping was amazing there. Cycle the Vantasaur. Okay. Ball Ritual, that was a good one. Okay, I feel a lot more comfortable now. At this point, it's just executing the combo. Just keep cycling. Cycle the Architects. Okay, so we have 5 mana. Now is the point where we need to repository back a Songs of the Damned. So we will exploit. Grab these songs. Cast it for 12 mana. Cycle. Okay. And again. And again. Dark Ritual. Blue. Cast another copy of Repository Scob. Exploit. Triggers. Return these songs. Cast it. 17 mana. Make a blue. Teachings. Still have so many songs left in here. Make another blue. Teachings. Casual Storm 20 and Pauper. No big deal. Songs. 46 mana floating. And plenty of time left. I think our opponent conceded, and they did. We got the match win. Take that, initiative mechanic. Everyone says you're too good. Well, we got you here. All right, you'll love to see it. Match 3 coming up. With Card Hoarder, renting your favorite combo deck has never been easier. There isn't a more affordable solution for Magic Online. Want to play the deck in this video? Check out the pinned comment below to easily rent the deck from Card Hoarder. Did you know you can rent the Epic Storm from Card Hoarder for as little as 7 tickets a week? We've made it simple to do so by including a button to rent the entire deck at theepicstorm.com/decklist. Round 3 on the play with Cycle Storm. Keep. Swamp, pass the turn, then we're going to cycle the Ash Barrens to go grab an island. They played an island, that's wild. I should have waited till their end step. I'm a fool. Draw. Songs of the Damned, I heard that card's okay. You also have an Ash Barrens on my end step? Oh, you're so much better than me. You knew when to cycle yours. That's crazy. They grab a swamp too. So they're likely on Dimir fairies, but it could be the mirror. Okay. Cycle Horror of the Broken Lands. Cycle the Stinger. Looking for land 3 so that way I can cast this to Hada's Ploy. No luck. Alright, cycle the Horror. We found land 3. Pass. Alright, well, they're not Cycle Storm because they didn't cycle anything there, so they're likely just Dimir fairies. Fairies here, yep. One on top, one on the bottom. Cycle the Stinger. Into another Songs. Draw. I'm just going to pass here. On their end step, I'll cast the Hada's Ploy. It's worth noting, the Writhing Necromass in our sideboard, this is the worst version of fairies to board it in against, but I think I'm going to do it anyway just to see how it fares. Tapping a blue for an Augur of Bolas. It's interesting that they didn't leave blue up, so now we can deduce that they don't have counterspell in hand. Debt to the Kami, which is a sacrifice enchantment or creature? Okay, it's not sacrifice. I choose and then exile. Alright, I was close. They're attacking with the fairies here. Will you opt to Nijitsu? No. Okay, let's play the Hada's Ploy. Discard. Another copy of Dahada's Ploy. Untap. Draw. I think it's party time. Dark Ritual. Come on, spell stutter this. Oh wow, you took that bait real hard. I didn't know that the hook could go in that deep. That's crazy. Alright. Cycle. Let's cast a Songs of the Damned. Play Blood Celebrant. Make a blue. Let's jumpstart this Dahada's Ploy. Discard a Mystical Teachings. 2 swamps. We can play 1. Let's cast another Songs of the Damned. Only making 6 mana though. And then I want to jumpstart again. I want more creatures. Discard this Teachings. Is the choke point mana or Reaping the Graves? I feel like it's actually mana. I have 6 creatures I'll be returning. This is a tough call. I think it just has to be the Reapings. I've gone through so many songs already that mana is going to be the choke point. Alright, so I'm going to hold this songs just because I think I can get a few extra mana out of it here. Street Wraith first and then the others. Alright, cycle. So we want it to make more than 6 mana, that's the goal. Dark Ritual. Cycle. Okay. Keep it cycling. Again. Island, not ideal. Cycle. Cycle. Songs for 9. So we got an extra 3 mana out of it there. Another swamp. Cycle. Cycle. Ay. I have 1 cycle left. I definitely fizzled here. And it's a Vantasaur. Should I just put my tail between my legs and flashback Teachings? So many lands. Alright, so I can cycle into exactly Songs 4 or Repository Scob to then get back songs to flashback Mystical Teachings. That's how we win. I think I'm going to go big here. And I did the exact opposite of that. Okay, so let's just flashback a Teachings, I guess. I'm sorry, I have to play out the Lotus Petal first. That was disappointing. A lot of lands. Grab the Reaping. Pass the turn. Evolving Wilds. Can't block. 2 mana here. They're just going to pass. We drew another Reaping. Played the island, just passed the turn. I exile a creature, so the Blood Celebrant's done. In order to win, I have to use my 3 remaining Lotus Petals. They use their Evolving Wilds. Grab an island. Preordain. 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. They attack for 3. I'll go to 19. Cycle the Ash Barrens. No basics left. Okay. I mean, it makes sense. I've drawn so many of them. Draw. Pass the turn. Evolving Wilds. They still have 4 cards in hand. So now we have to figure out how to win. It's going to be tough because you have to think of what this deck realistically has in hand. They probably have some sort of counterspell and removal, and we have a tough time beating both right now. Flashback Teachings. Counter target spell. Draw. Cycle Street Wraith. Dark Ritual. They're trying to pay costs here. Decide against it. Play the Ash Barrens, I guess. Ball Ritual. Reaping the Graves for 3. It's gonna be tough to win this game. Wraith. Wraith? I mean, mana's my choke point, so using my life total as a resource here helps a little bit. Cycle. Okay, going to 12. 10. Scob. Cycle. Lotus Petal. Attempt to play Repository Scob. Exploit trigger. Cast down. Yep. So I actually have a small window here to try to win. I mean, it's incredibly small. We have 1 copy of Songs of the Damned left in our deck. I could potentially draw into it. Street Wraith. We have 2 hits. Or 2 opportunities to try to hit. Cycle. Cycle? We did not. Okay. I should not have 6. I might... No, I should pass the turn. I need the Storm Count next turn, so I should keep the Lotus Petal back. Discard the Ash Barrens, pass. They have 2 cards in hand. I'll go to 3. What are your 2 cards? That's what I want to know. Draw. Lotus Petal. Attempt to play a Repository Scob. That doesn't do it. That was a misplay there. Ooh, they have double Sprite. Okay, so that's 5 power on board. Can I live through this? I have 2 Lotus Petals left in my deck. Alright, so... I have 3 Lotus Petals left in my deck. No, I have 1. I'm sorry, I have 2 in play. So if I go Scob into Petal, I only have 1 left. I can't actually win this turn, so I think I'm supposed to play healers to stay alive. Or a healer, at least. I can block, take 4, go to 1, try again next turn. Okay. I don't know if I've ever used healer this much before. Or across games, at least. Cycle the Architects. Now I'm at 5. Pass the turn. They drew a spell. I don't like that. I needed them to draw a land there. They're paying costs. They drew Cast Down. So now I'm forced to use a red source here. So I have 1 red source in order to win with. This is going to be really tough to win. I mean, it's not impossible, but... Ay, ay, ay. Cabal Ritual. I also don't even know how many Reaping the Graves I have left. 1, 2, 3. All 4 Reaping are in the graveyard. And I have 1 Scob here. I don't know if I can do this. Going to 1. Draw. Alright, Cabal Ritual. I believe I have 1 Songs left. 1, 2, 3. I have 1 Songs left. So am I supposed to try to hit that? I think I have to. There's the final Petal. Cycle. Can't cycle that. Cycle this. Can't cycle that. Come on, deck. I need that Songs here. There we go. Okay. So now I can play the Scob. Exploit. Get back the Reaping the Graves. Cast this. So this is for 5. So we'll get back the Repository Scob. Stinger. And then cycling creatures. I don't know if I can actually pull this off or not. I only have 5 cards left in deck. I'm low on mana. Yeah, I think I'm actually just choked out because I'm too restrained on colored mana. So I guess my out here is that my opponent concedes. Now my game is lagging. Come on. Wasted half my clock so far. Let's turn off auto yields. Okay. Might as well see what the last few cards in my deck are. Dark Ritual. Cycle. Cycle. This is the last card. Alright, so cycle. Cycle. I doubt they'll concede, but it's the line that I have to take here. Okay. Cycle. You'll notice that I'm not drawing the cards because I'm leaving the draw ability on the stack. You don't actually have to draw as long as you have a trigger like Drannith Stinger first. And we are dead. They choked us on colored mana, so getting rid of the Blood Celebrant was the big difference maker here. Kind of a bummer. I also used half my clock, so in order to win, I have to be fast. So I'm going to try the Writhing Necromass sideboard plan that we discussed. I don't think it's going to be amazing, but I think it's worth trying. I'm going to board out Ploys. Take out some copies of Dark Ritual. It's 64. Goodbye Architects. 61. Take out a Petal. Let's try this out. Game 2 on the play. Need to be fast here. Keep. Swamp Dress. We're dressing now. Okay, they don't have anything, but if they have a relic, you want to be able to get it early, which is the reason to cast it on the first turn. Obviously, it looks worse when your opponent doesn't have anything, but this isn't the normal case scenario. Turn 1 Fairy Seer. They put 2 on top. Draw. I'm going to just cycle my main phase. If they get me, they get me. I can't afford to waste seconds, like waiting till their end step. I just need that F6 value. They play an Ice Tunnel. And they do not attack. Thank you. Draw. I actually meant to cycle my upkeep, but I'm fine drawing a creature too. Cycle. Another, so this would be cost reduced by 3. Not worth burning yet. Pass the turn. They cycle Ash Barrens. They have a swamp. They play Island. I didn't know about the Island. Fairy Seer. So I believe I know 3 of their 5. 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. They're getting in. We'll go to 19. Draw. Cast Necromass. Spellstutter Sprite that. Oh, you have a counter spell as one of your 2 unknowns? Fine. Fine. They play the Swamp. And they have Relic. That's unfortunate. Exile the Ash Barrens. Draw. Lotus Petal. Necromass. You have another counterspell? That is not fair. That is not fair. You're not supposed to be able to do that. That is just not very nice. I have no other words to describe this. I'm going to try to spike another Songs of the Damned here. I just have to pass. So they can't use their Relic here. I am going to cast Songs of the Damned. And now I can return some stuff. So returning 5. We want the Withering Necromasses back. The healer. Okay. Pass the turn. They have Spell Stutter and an island in hand. They play the island. I'll go to 13. Exile Duress. Draw. Land for turn. So if I cycle the Street Wraith, I can play Necromass without sacrificing the Petal. Alright, cycle, go to 11. Necromass. I mean, this is doing a good job against Relic. It's hard to argue otherwise. 2 mana. Your removal spell. 3 mana. What are you doing? You're messing with me. Sure. They're going to attack, put me to 9. Draw. Get in there. Hiya. Play the Ash Barons. Necromass. Alright, pass the turn. They flash in Spell Stutter. I was waiting for that because now I can potentially play Drannith Healer to gain some life. Exile the Reaping. And we'll take 3 damage here, going to 6. They have 3 cards in hand. I'm going to cycle the Vantasaur. Okay, draw. Let's attack first. They cast down, sure. Land. How much does this thing cost? 3. Pretty good. They have 2 cards in hand. Sacrifice this for a white. Healer. They sack the Relic. We want this one to resolve, and it does! Yes! That was so good for us. Okay, that was great. Augur of Bolas. So that's a chump blocker. And they find no cards. We're even for my first turn to rest now. They're going to get in for 3, and I'll go to 3. Alright, it's their end step. We'll cycle the healer. So this buys me at least 1 turn. Cycle the horror. Okay. Untap. Draw. Let's get in there. They have to block a Necromass unless they have a removal spell. So they're going to take 7 going to 3. I could play the Horror of the Broken Lands here, but I think how I lose this game is that they flash in a creature and then have like a Nujitsu creature and then I die. So I'm going to keep this open as a way to gain a life. Preordain. I guess I could have considered hardcasting Street Wraith there. They did 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. They play an Evolving Wilds. I was so focused on not dying that I didn't consider playing Street Wraith. What is this? Angler. Okay. So they have to leave back at least 2. Sure thing. I'm going to cycle Horror. Cycle. Okay. Draw. Another Necromass. They have to block these two or else they're dead, so we swing out and put them to 1. Drannith Healer Beatdown. Yep. How much does this cost? 2? Alright, we're a beatdown deck. They're at 1 life. I think we're going to game 3, but I'll only have 7 minutes to win it. 1 on top, 1 on the bottom. And they pass. Draw. Swing out. And they concede. Okay. So we have 7 minutes left. Necromass looks so good here. Wow. That was amazing. Big fan. Let's see if we can replicate that in the third game. We only drew 1 duress there, which is probably pretty lucky. I wonder if we even want the duress here. Probably to hit removal spells. I'm going to try boarding out teachings. Bring back in some more creatures. Let's try this. Game 3. Great hand. Keep. Ice Tunnel. Draw. Once again, just going to try to hit that relic. Dispel, Counterspell, Preordain. Just take the Counterspell. Pass the turn. They play that island. Preordain. 2 on the bottom. Upkeep, cycle, we'll go grab an island. Draw. Just cycle the Vantasaur past the turn. You could think about playing out a Stinger there. I just don't know if I love it. Land. Augur of Bolas. That would have blanked my Stinger, so they find a Preordain. They don't cast it. Draw. Cycle. Cycle again. Pass. Preordain. I'll take 1 going to 19. We have 6 cards in hand. We know Dispel and Spell Stutter. Draw. Let's attempt to duress them, see if they let it resolve. They Spell Stutter, I'm fine with that trade. Lotus Petal. Cabal Ritual. Cycle. Cycle. There we go. Cycle again. Oh, baby. Songs. Songs. Lotus Petal. Celebrant. Reaping the Graves. Return everyone. So the question is, do I want to play out Double Stinger and just start cycling? I'm not against it here. Pay a life. Play out a Stinger. Play another Stinger. We don't have the tools to go super long because I boarded out Mystical Teachings. So the idea of just like wait until later doesn't always work when you take that approach. Alright, play a horror or cycle a horror. I have a land drop, let's play that. Cycle Vantasaur. They're at 14. I don't think I'm supposed to cycle that. Or supposed to play that. I think we're supposed to just cycle. Cycle the Architects. Okay. Cost 1 more, so I should just cycle instead. Now we'll play the Necromass. Pass the turn. 4.5 minutes left. They cast down a Stinger. I'm fine with that. Draw. Okay, let's cycle. This deals them a damage. They snuff out going to 4. I'm going to let that happen. I can just play another Stinger. Cast Stinger. Go Hydroblast? Brainstorm, okay. Stinger. So this should resolve. Now we attack. No point in attacking with the Celebrant. That would just be a terrible attack. Now they're forced to block. Yep. And we were representing lethal again on our turn, so now I have these two that can deal lethal even if they block the Writhing Necromass. Excuse me. So now they have land 4. It's been a good match so far. Gurmag Angler, that's a big deal. Draw. Okay, let's cycle. This deals them 1, so they'll go to 2. Cycle, they'll go to 1. And the Blood Celebrant can deal lethal, even if we didn't draw one there. So our opponent concedes the game, and we are victorious. Writhing Necromass looks so good here. Wow! I am pretty excited about this card right now. This was insane. Alright, match 4 coming up. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. I am still incredibly pumped after that last match. I can't wait to play this one. I love this deck so much. Ah, God. I am not making this up. I truly love Cycle Storm. This deck is just so sweet. We're facing Ban Good. What are you playing, Ban Good? Basic Forest. Well, I can see why you like bans. Hi-oh. Kidding. Forests are fine. Draw. We did not draw a land. We will cycle Street Wraith. No land there. Cycle Street Wraith again. And again. Okay. I think I'm actually going to keep this Lotus Petal around and just pass the turn. So, Arbor Elf a lot of the time means land destruction, so I don't want to go get a land only for it to be destroyed and sacrifice this Lotus Petal in the meantime. They play a Wild Growth, okay. Tapping for 2, they can untap it with the Arbor Elf, make 4 mana. And then do you have the land destruction spell? Llanowar Visionary, floating a green. Okay. And to another Arbor Elf. Okay, let's cycle the Imposing Vantasaur. Another Reaping the Graves, untap, draw. We had a Songs. Cycle the Healer. Lotus Petal. I think I'm just going to pass the turn here, discarding the Teachings. I don't really feel the pressure to go off. Our opponent is lacking a red source at the moment. I say that because most of the time these decks are red-green. They could be black-green, they could be mono-green, but usually there's some red in there. We'll take 4 damage going to 10. Draw. Now's the time we want to get moving, though. Mostly just because we have triple Street Wraith in the graveyard, and if I wait too long, we can't cycle those, and that becomes a concern. We'll cast Cabal Ritual Threshold, cycle a Vantasaur, another copy of Lotus Petal. Okay. Increase our Storm count just a little bit. Storm 6, and then Storm 7, Reaping the Graves. Okay, I'm going to break my own rule here. What did I target first? I think that's everything. What am I missing? I think that's everything, but I'm just going to click. I'm not going to cycle. I think that if I just start cycling, I'm going to fizzle. So instead, I'm going to play out the healer and just gain a little bit of life here. Like, man, it's just such a choke point. And losing 2 here to make sure that we can cycle these Street Wraiths with this Reaping the Graves, I think is just worth it. Okay. Keep cycling. The ploy's pretty good. I don't know if I'll actually cast it. I think I'd rather just dig deeper. Well, that was a great draw. Wow. Okay. We're going places. Cycle. Auto yield up to 10 life. Cycle this healer. Leave the black floating. Cycle the horror. And now this songs will make 8 mana. Cast it. Cycle. Up to 13. Cycle down to 6. Go down to 5. Keep cycling. Let's cycle the architects. Do I add a ritual? No. So now we have an interesting decision to make. I can Reaping the Graves for 10 and return triple Street Wraith. And in the process, I can look for a Dark Ritual, which we've seen 0 of. We've seen 2 copies of Song, so we have 5 hits. Or I can just cast the Ploy and gain a buttload of life. I think I'd rather abuse the Storm mechanic here and just restock my hand. I mean, we're unlikely to spike, but we might as well. Okay, so we'll return triple Street Wraith. We have 1 black floating. Let's try to hit. First one was a miss. Second one was a miss. Third one was a miss. Okay, so we fizzled. Not the end of the world. Cycle. Alright, we have to pass the turn. Definitely keeping the swamp in hand. Get rid of this ploy, we don't need it. Discard some other stuff. I think I'm going to get rid of the other land. I don't know if I want to keep it or not. I'm a little torn on that if you're supposed to keep an extra creature or the 4th land. Alright, they found a land that can make red. Well, they named blue. Wow. Okay. It's pretty free to attack with a Visionary here. I will not block. Yep, and our opponent wisely decides to attack. Passes the turn, we'll draw. Oh, look at that. A ritual effect. Wouldn't that have been nice last turn? Cycle. And there's the Songs of the Damned. Okay. It's party time. Keep cycling. Lotus Petal. I guess I can cycle this Stinger. Let's do it this way. Cycle Stinger. Cycle. So now our Songs of the Damned will make 16 mana. We will jumpstart the Dahada's Ploy, discarding the Ash Barrens, discard a land. Just trying to increase storm count mostly here. Cycle. Dark Ritual. Make a blue. Dahada's Ploy. Discard. Ball Ritual. Another thing we're trying to do is figure out which pieces we want to get. So we have Teachings that can go get a Reaping the Graves, or it can get a Songs, but we want to find one of them first. Alright, so I'm going to make a blue here. We'll jumpstart the Ploy. And we hit both. A little bit awkward. So which one do we have more of? 1 Reaping, 2 Reaping. So this is Reaping 3? I hope I'm correct here, otherwise I'm going to look like a real fool. Flashback Teachings. Ooh, I could do Teachings. That doesn't actually matter. Let's just grab this. Firm is 11. This should be plenty. Alright, so first we're going to make sure we have all of our Stingers. That's all 4 Stingers, and then we can return literally anything else. Okay, casual 50 life, 20 black mana floating. This deck is great. Make a red. There was also a point in this game where I thought my life total was too low. What was I thinking? Stinger. Play another Stinger. It's also wild to think that, like, a month ago, the mono-red prowess deck was everywhere. I mean, it's still a terrific deck, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to badmouth it. But everyone's like, this deck is too good. Swift Spear was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And now everyone is on the narrative that initiative is too powerful. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all of these takes. And I do play a reasonable amount of Pauper. I think that people react very quickly to new mechanics and they don't take the time to really think about how the meta can shift around them or balance to fight back. Initially, when the Pauper format panel came around, I was a little worried that they were going to listen to public opinion too much, just because we had back-to-back bans that were pretty fast, and I think that they've slowed down for the good in the meantime. I do think that fairies might end up being a long-term problem, but as of right now, I think the format's actually pretty healthy, even with initiative. We're facing likely Panza of some sort, but I don't actually know based on how that game played out. I could bring in Snuff Out or Repeal. I'm just going to resubmit instead, though. Looking forward to Thursday so that I can buy Writhing Necromasses from Haruya, because Thursday here is Friday in Japan, so that's when Dominaria United goes on sale. So I will be buying 8 Japanese foil Writhing Necromasses immediately. And if you're unfamiliar, the artist, Campbell White, signs with Matthew Schneider, who runs Mountain Mage's signing group. I love signed cards, so I send to Matthew all the time. There's also Mark Aronowitz. This isn't just a sponsor for Matt, but I love signed cards, and Campbell signs through Matt, so I'll definitely be sending those out. Reasonable hand? It's fine. I mean, I don't think this hand is amazing or anything, but it's good enough. Our opponent takes a mulligan to 6. Forest. Arbor Elf. Draw. Alright, so this time I am going to burn the Ash Barrens, just because we have 2 creatures that require a colored mana to cycle. Please don't punish me. Another Forest. Wild Growth. Back up to 4 mana on turn 2. Classic opener. Yep. Please don't punish me. Please don't punish me. What is this? Jewel Thief. 3 mana for a 3/3 cat rogue. Vigilance Trample. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Okay. Card's pretty sweet. They have 1 green floating and are going to make a treasure. No! Okay. So maybe I want duress moving forward. Move this Ash Barrens. I could also look into possibly playing the Horror of the Broken Lands and going beatdown. Let's cycle the Architects. Okay. Draw. Think I'll just pass the turn here. Opponent with 2 cards in hand. Another Arbor Elf. Yeah, I might bring in Necromass if there is a game 3, and they play a Forest. Remove the Lotus Petal. So I'm going to cycle a couple copies of Vantasaur on their end step, and I'm looking to draw into like land Dark Ritual so I can play the Horror. I mean, honestly, I would also just take Dark Ritual and I'll burn the Lotus Petal, but I am looking to get this creature onto the battlefield and show everyone Horror of the Beatdown. Cycle. Okay, cycle. Reaping. Draw. Land. I'll just pass the turn. There's a chance that our opponent just sacrifices the relic, so I don't want to cycle main phase. They get in for 5 again. I'm going to go to 11. My time is running out to convert into beatdown mode. They have 1 card in hand. They cycle on Ash Barrens. Okay. They named blue in the first game, and now they show red. I mean, I assume that they were on red before, but you never really know. So I know that they have the mountain. They play the mountain. Okay. Cycle a healer. Another Reaping the Grave. Cycle the Vantasaur. Ploy. Okay. Need a land. Or a ritual. Stinger. I'm just going to pass here. I can ploy on their end step to gain a life. Although this would have been a great spot to have the Writhing Necromass for sure. We're going to go to 6 life here. Remove the Vantasaur. Alright. And I will cast Ploy. I have 1 card in hand. It resolves. We finally hit a land. How about that? Crazy. Discard a Reaping the Graves. I don't need 2 of those. Draw. Wraith. I do have to burn the Lotus Petal to play the Horror of the Broken Lands, which is kind of a bummer. Because I would like to play the Drannith Healer, because that could actually buy me a lot of time. But unfortunately, this is the line I have to take here. And the Horror of the Beatdown resolves. Not surprised against the red-green deck, but let's see if it sticks. This could be a spot where they choose to use the Relic because they would get my Ploy. And they do not. They play a land. They untap the Wild Growth land. Okay, so they have 2 mana. What could you have drawn that this is the... Is it Boarding Party? Because I'm probably dead to Boarding Party. It is Boarding Party. We were too slow. Ah, what a bummer. So they're playing blue for the initiative cards. Okay, that makes sense. And we are just dead, so we're going to pick this game up. How do I want to fight back against Relic in these post-board games? Do I want Writhing Necromass or do I want Duress? I'm not quite sure. Their creature has their deck has a lot of ramp in it, so I'm not sure if that's actually the path I want to take. I could look into like boarding in snuff outs just to slow them down. I'm not sure. Alright, let's take out the Architects, I guess. I'm going to bring in the Necromasses. I feel like it's a pretty easy swap. We can just board out a Ploy, Shaving of Teachings, maybe bring in Repeal. I don't know if I love Duress against a deck that just has like Wild Growths and Relics in it. There's so many creatures. I just don't think it's going to be effective. I am considering Snuff Out here and just going like full beatdown plan. But if I bring in Snuff Out, I think we have to board out some of these blue cards. Like, we could leave 1 Scob, but I'm not sure if that's the move. Like, we could do this. Or leave in 1 Teachings, board out a Petal. Let's try this. I don't know if this is going to be good enough, but we're going to try it. On the play. I mean, this hand is good, it just doesn't beat Relic very well. Alright, turn 1 Swamp past the turn. They kept 7, so I'm a little bit worried about Relic. They definitely mulled to it in game 2. Forest. And they're passing. So no 1-drop here. Cycle the Horror. Writhing Necromass, draw. Cycle Horror. It's 2 creatures. Cycle Wraith. Do I hit the land? We did hit the land. Pass the turn. So I can Dark Ritual out the Necromass next turn if that's what I'm into. Land. And they're passing. Oh, I can definitely cycle it out now. Or accelerate into it. So if I go Dark Ritual, so this costs 7, minus 3 is 4. Dark Ritual Necromass works. Here it is, 5/5 beater. I love this card already. I am a huge fan. Like, I might not win this game, but I'm a big fan of this. Weather the Storm to gain 3. Or, I'm sorry, to gain 9, Storm 3. Land number 3 for the opponent. Elvish Visionary. Or Llanowar Visionary. Draw. Cycle the Wraith. I do have a Snuff Out that I could draw into to kill this thing. Let's start by beating down. Part of me wonders if I should like try to put more horrors into play this turn. So this would be 3. This would be 9 total mana, so I could guarantee a horror in play. Songs. Reaping for 4. Okay. Alright, it's finally letting me select correctly. Let's cast this. Cycle. Land for turn. 1 mana short of repealing this Visionary. Let's cycle again. Teachings. Cycle the Horror. At 12. Can I cast this? Nope. Play the Blood Celebrant. Pass the turn. I should on F6, because if they play the treasure creature again, I can bounce their treasure and draw a card. Another Visionary, okay. They draw. Do you have a land? They do have a land. They're pretty close to boarding party, which scares me. Draw. Songs. That was decent. Let's start off with attacking. Get in. No blocks. Alright, take it. I believe I'm short on casting this, yeah. I have to songs to play it. I have a feeling they might be holding up another weather. Pass the turn. And it is another weather. Surprise, surprise. So they'll gain 9. Up to 24. So now they have enough mana to play boarding party if they do have it. Okay. And there's the boarding party. Have ourselves a game here. Wild Growth, sure thing. I'd like to draw a land, because then I could cast Mystical Teachings for a Snuff Out and kill the boarding party. Relic, sure. I don't care about that. I will exile a Dark Ritual. And they pass. Draw, land? Land? So that puts me to 10? That's a little risky. Okay. My horror gets bigger, but is it worth it? Cycle. So now I could actually cast the teachings, but I don't have the... Oh no, I have the Blood Celebrant. Okay. How much does songs make? Probably not enough. 5, yeah. So I can go to 9? So this would put me to 5. This is a pretty risky play. So if I get Snuff Out here, I can kill the boarding party and attack for 19. Kill the boarding party. So if I swing like this, I can block another boarding party that comes down. And I'm representing lethal on the swing back. I think this is it. So they're taking 18 here, going to 6. Alright, if they have lethal, they have lethal. Looks like another boarding party. They do have it. I was worried about this. They reveal Utopia Sprawl. So if they swing out, I can block and go to 1 and then swing back and kill them. Land, okay. They have 2 cards. They're at 6 life. Whether the storm is a concern here. They've already played 2, though. Draw. Another snuff out could actually do it, too. Repeal. So I can bounce a Visionary, but if they have the... If they have Weather the Storm, I'm dead. Dark Ritual. Bounce the Visionary. Go to combat. Do I want to leave myself dead to Weather? So if I'm definitely swinging with this, this, and this. So the problem is they can block 2 and then live another turn. If I swing out with this, I have guaranteed lethal, assuming they don't have Weather as one of the 2 unknown cards in their hand. I'm dead to a 3rd boarding party. I'm going to swing out. Punish me. Okay, 5 coming in. Cycle. They don't have it. I think we got it. Writhing Necromass beatdown. Okay. That's lethal. They have 1 green. We did it. 3-1. Wow, this card just continues to impress. Match 5 coming up. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Token Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $14.99. This combo token pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens. That includes our classic Storm and mana tokens, as well as fan favorites such as Goblins, Squirrels, and Slime Time Live. But that's not all. We've expanded this token pack to cover a variety of formats with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Match 5. We're on the draw. Unfortunately, no lands, no keeps, no lands again. This time we do have double Street Wraith. I'm gonna risk it here. Bottom the Blood Celebrant. We'll draw a land. Everything will be just fine. Don't you worry. What are you playing, Boom Bust? Bridge. So likely Affinity, draw. Not a land. Cycle. Uh-oh. Always had it. 100% of the time. Can't tell me otherwise. Pass the turn. Alright, so it is Affinity. Look at this. We had land drops the entire time. Like, you didn't have any faith in me. I could feel it. Hurts my feelings a little bit that you would not believe in the power of this deck. Look, now we have land drops till turn 12. It's going to be fine. Land number 3 for the opponent, and they're just passing. Cycle. Okay. A lot of creatures. Pass the turn. Deadly Dispute, sacrificing the seat. Didn't see that coming. Yep. They have another bridge. Frogmite. And they just passed the turn. Draw. Another healer. Let's cycle an Architects. This brings us down to 42. Repository Scob's a fine draw here, but we're almost 33% of the way through our deck, and that was another fine draw. Cycle the healer. Okay, and I mean, next turn is likely going to be a go turn for us. Beautiful. Pass. We just have to be able to untap. Anything can happen. Another Deadly Dispute, sure thing. So some of these builds, and I mean, they're not as common, but they do play... Sorry, I need to bring my Streamlabs back up, make sure I didn't like crash it or some random thing. But some lists do play counter target spell in their deck. So I'm a little bit worried about that because our opponent's been keeping up blue sources, but I sort of doubt that's the case here. Mirror Enforcer, they have 6 cards. They swing 2, I go to 14. You got it. Draw. Am I allowed to have a Dark Ritual? Thinking a long time on that ritual. Teachings. I guess Metallic Rebuke would get me here. Counter spell? Really? Okay. Oh, it is Metallic Rebuke. I'll pay the 3, but I have to pass the turn after that. If they have 2 Galvanic Blasts, I'm actually dead. Grab songs. Please don't murder me. Please do not murder me. Another Deadly Dispute? Real bargain. Okay. So at this point, they've seen almost a third of their deck themselves. Double Dispute's not unlikely, but I hope they don't have it. I'm at 8. Blue. They play a Thoughtcast. They've now seen a full third of their deck. Frogmite. Don't slow roll me. They play a Bridge. 6 cards in hand. Alright, they're letting me untap. How gracious. Songs of the Damned. I can pay for another Metallic Rebuke. Alright, you had all the counter spells, but I will pay. And now I have to play around 1 copy of Galvanic Blast on this turn. Cycle. Cycle. Might as well play this. We don't have any more blue sources, so it doesn't hurt us at all. Okay. Dark Ritual. Increase that storm count a little bit. We're going to Mystical Teachings for another copy of Songs of the Damned here. This makes 17 mana. Wow. Alright. So now we get to bring back 7 creatures. I'm going to hold off on returning Street Wraiths. Mana is not the choke point, and I don't want to die to a Galvanic Blast. So that's my thought process here. All of our cards are back. Let's start cycling. 18 floating mana. There's a Lotus Petal. That's actually pretty good. I could play out a healer here. I'm not going to, because I might need to use that for blue mana. And there's the Blood Celebrant. So now I can afford to play out the healer. We'll go to 7. Cabal Ritual. They do not shoot the healer. Okay. Cycle the Architects. We'll go to 9. Reaping was a very good draw. Cycle. I'm up to 11. Cycle the Stinger. 22 cards currently left in deck. Okay, so I'm going to try to play out the Repository Scob, but it's such a juicy Galvanic Blast target. But mana's our choke point. If they don't have the blast, I get to make 1,000,000 mana, so why not? Exploit. Ooh, I get to do the trigger. I believe that means that we have won the game. Songs for 19. Reaping the Graves, getting back Scob. Now we can return all of our friends. And our opponent just concedes instead. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now we're going to game 2 against Affinity. I don't think we want Necromass in this matchup. You could board and repeal for like a Spellbomb or something. I also think that Dress is somewhat reasonable against them, so how would we board if this was the case? I think you could take out a Ploy, probably take out a Teachings, and then Architects. Call it a day like this. Let's try it out. Game number 2. I'm not convinced with this sideboard plan. Like, you can also just say, hey, I'm going to be a more efficient combo deck. I'm not going to board in duress. And I think that's very, very fine. I board differently all the time because it's just good to try out different things, see if your opinion is still correct, that sort of thing. And no lands, have to mulligan this hand. Decent. I think we're supposed to bottom the scob here. My one concern with this hand is we do not have a whole lot of cyclers, so I'm going to need to draw some creatures. Alright, step 1. Pass the turn. On their end step, we'll cycle the Ash Barrens, grab an island. 2 mana for an Ichor Wellspring. Cycle. Grab that island. You can have a Wellspring. Draw, play the land, pass the turn. They play a 3rd land. What is this? 3 mana. Mirror Enforcer. You got it. Cycle. Another Reaping. Duress. Draw. Let's see what they're up to. 4 cards in their hand. It's all gas. We'll take the Deadly Dispute because it's the best one. Cycle, trying to hit the 4th land, or 3rd land. We missed. I'm just going to pass. Another reason to take Deadly Dispute with this Duress is that the Reckoner's Bargain doesn't make a treasure, so they can't actually cast the Thoughtcast. They play Blood Fountain. This should give them enough artifacts to play the Mirror Enforcer for free, and they can still cast the Reckoner's Bargain. Actually, no, they can't. Alright, I think I'm going to attempt to win here. We only have 3 creatures, so it's not without risk, but it's an opening, and I think we should take it. Okay, cycle. Again. Love drawing all these creatures. Land. I think I'm actually going to use the blue mana here. Alright, so now my songs make 6. Stinger returns. Let's cycle that. Cycle Stinger. Come on, Repository Scob. Teachings. That gets another songs. How much does that make, though? 7? It's better than nothing. Let's cast it. Grab the songs. Play it. Now we're going to have 4 mana floating after this. We're likely going to fizzle here. But you never know. Might as well try. Okay. Only 5 mana available. Need to get a little bit lucky. Cycle. Didn't need an Ash Baron. Cycle again. Come on, deck, please. My prayers were not answered. Okay, so I think the new game plan is I'm going to duress them, take their Reckoner's Bargain, and pass the turn. At 16, I'm almost dead. Tapping for a red, they're going to use the blood token. They discard the Thoughtcast. They have 1 unknown in their hand, and it's a Frogmite. So I'm going to take 8 down to 8. So they're representing lethal. I have to draw something good here. Play the Ash Barrens. Let's start off by cycling Street Wraith down to 6 life. Cycle the Vantasaur. Cycle Horror. Alright, I guess we'll go to... I've cycled 3 so far, so this would gain 4 life up to 10, which is still not enough. Cycled the Street Wraith. Down to 2 life. Come on. Repeal. That doesn't do anything. I could play a blocker, but that's really not ideal. I think I'm really just trying to spike his songs here. Cycle Stinger. We're down to our last draw. Cycle Horror. And we fizzled. Damn. That was my game to lose. Okay. Game 3 coming up. We will be on the play. I think I'm going to try boarding out the Duresses. I'm just going to leave in the Repeal for Spellbomb. Let's give this a go. Game 3 for the marbles. Keep. Went it with a mulligan to 5. Swamp past the turn. Bridge will cycle. Horror of the Broken Lands. Draw. Cycle another healer. Miss our second land drop past the turn. Great Furnace. Vicar Wellspring. Draw. We hit the second land, that's great. Cycle the Horror. Cycle Stinger. Pass. Frogmite. And they're representing Mystical Dispute here. Cycle. Cycle. Do we hit land 3? We did not. I'm going to play out the Lotus Petal so that way I'm not discarding. Chromatic Star. They definitely have Metallic Rebuke. Alright, we're at 18. Draw. Cycle the Horror. Cycle Architects. Go to 16. Add another Lotus Petal. Pass that turn. So, could they have double Rebuke here? I don't think so. So they'd have 1 blue, 2 artifacts. Yeah, they couldn't have double Rebuke here, so I think I can beat 1 on my turn. I'm at 14 life. And they're passing. Draw. Can I have a Dark Ritual? Dispel. Okay. I think I'm just going to pass the turn then. Cycle. Another Teachings, that was not good. Deadly Dispute, yep. I need another mana source so that way I can cast Cabal Ritual through a Metallic Rebuke. I'm at 12, they still have 7 in hand. Draw. Well, that's another mana source. Cabal Ritual. And here's the Rebuke. So we will cast another Cabal Ritual in response. And then yes, we'll pay for the 3. This resolves. And now we can Teachings for Songs. Makes 10 mana. Our storm count's a little bit low, so what I'm going to do is flash back the Teachings just to get another Songs of the Damned. We still have 2 songs left in the deck. And this is going to be a Reaping the Graves with 13 mana floating. Storm 8. Street Wraith first, and then the rest. I think our best draw is secretly the Blood Celebrant, at least at the moment. We'll have a good Dark Ritual. Cycle. Brings me to 8. Cycle. Again. Another Reaping, that's fine. Cycle. Down to 10 mana. There it is. Okay, I just need to be wise with my mana now to not go too low. Cycle the Stinger. Let's go to 6 life, cycle. We're just going to return both of these because I don't want to mess up. So now I'll pay out life, going to 5, cast Teachings. Grab a song. So I have 1 songs left in the deck. Cycle this. Play Lotus Petal. Cycle Vantasaur because it makes some mana. Make a black. Songs of the Damned. Cycle Vantasaur, 14 mana floating. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I guess I can. It's fine. Let's just play the ploy. And it drew the 4th copy of Songs. Alright, a lot of lands in hand. Just cycling through. We haven't actually hit a Repository Scob yet. Songs. Reaping the Graves. Term is 17. Start with the 4 Stingers. And then you can just return anything else after that. Alright, not to count my chickens too early, but we finished this league 4-1, with the one loss, in my opinion, being a little bit of bad variance. I felt like I probably should have won that, but not the end of the world. This deck is incredibly good, and Writhing Necromass just made it way better. We can just easily sidestep relics now. It's insane. Actually insane. We had that sweet match against Dimir Fairies. We beat down against the ramp deck because they had relics in their deck, and it was easy. It wasn't even difficult. And our opponent concedes. Wow. Like this, I was really, really impressed by Writhing Necromass. Like that card was just so good here. I don't know if you still need the repeal. It did come up a couple times where I was able to bounce a blocker, that sort of thing. Certainly better than Fairy Macabre. If you wanted to cut Fairy Macabre for some other way of gaining life, you probably could. You could also cut the repeal. So if you wanted to cut repeal in the 2 fairies for like a forest and 2 gnaw, you could do that if you wanted to be soul tie. I just don't know if you need life gain. I'm open to being wrong, and just because we 4-1, let's open up some chests, see if we get anything good. And what is this? Ooh, an Imperial Seal. How about that? I've been playing a lot of CEDH online recently, so that's sweet. Now it's not letting me zoom. I don't know what this is. Ulminster? It's a mythic from Boulder's Gate. Well, I hope you're worth money. Alright, thanks everyone. I do appreciate you watching. Go play Cyclestorm for yourself. It's relatively cheap. If you're looking to buy it online or in paper, the links are in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Go check those out. Thanks again for watching. Hey, Bryant Cook here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, but also follow the social media channels down below. If you want to support this content directly, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/shop. And if you need a little bit of assistance with the Epic Storm to get to that next level, I would recommend going to theepicstorm.com/tutoring. Don't worry, there's more great content coming right up.